And this ain't no J-Lo bashing because she's crazy, talented.
Right.
So I saw her at the upfronts. It was me and Danny DeVito. And he's like, "That's Jennifer Lopez over there. You don't know her, right?" I'm like, "Yeah, I know her." So I go over there and I'm like, "What's up, girl? You blew up. What is going on?" She's like, "Hi." Getting some little carrot dip. And I'm going, what's in that carrot dip? Because she's dipping my ass.
All my life, been grinding all my life. Sacrifice, hustle, pay the price. Want a slice, got to roll the dice, that's why. All my life, I've been grinding all my life. Look, all my life, been grinding all my life. Sacrifice, hustle, pay the price. Want a slice, got to roll the dice, that's why. All my life, I've been grinding all my life.
Hello, welcome to another edition of Club Shay. I am your host, Shannon Sharp. I'm also the proprietor of Club Shay, and the guy that's stopping by for conversation, no drinking today, is Emmy Award winner, comedian, actor, voice actor, writer, producer, musician, director, author, been in the industry almost 40 years, a friend of mine, Tommy Davidson.
What's up, man?
Tommy, how you doing, bro?
I'm doing
good. Long time no see.
Oh, wait a minute, Skip, what? You brought Skip?
Nah, no Skip.
Skip! What? Skip! Skip!
We're not doing that.
Stop that. Yeah, right. I love you though on that one. Skip. You for real? For real, Skip? Skip.
Already?
For real? Already? Huh?
We're not gonna.
We in.
Good to see you. Thanks for stopping by.
That's love, man. You lighten it up. You lighten up the scoreboard everywhere.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, man.
You got your start. One of your first gigs you had as a comedian, you performed in a strip club. How you telling jokes looking at booty?
You see that? That was a dart tip. You see that? Quick.
I'm gonna get me one.
Tommy, first one. Whap. You know what I mean? Actually, that was my friend Howard, man, that I grew up in my neighborhood with.
Okay.
We grew up in the same project. We knew each other since we were 8. And we lived pretty rough neighborhood, you know. And I had got a job at a Ramada Inn when I was 19.
Okay.
As an assistant chef.
Okay. As a chef?
As an assistant chef.
Okay.
Right? But I got paid, paid comparably with that, right? At 19.
Okay.
So I called Howard and I said, "Howard, I got this job at the Ramada Inn and da-da-da." Howard said, "You about the stupidest I'd ever seen in my life."
Okay.
You can be in Hollywood writing your own ticket. You can be like Eddie Murphy, do your own movies, do all that stuff. I said, "You just mad that I got a job."
Right.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
He's like, "Nah, man, you should be on the stage. I don't want to hear nothing," right? So he called me and said, "Hey, he called me on my phone at home. We have cell phone.
You do, right.
I got you an opening to go down to the Penthouse to do a show." I'm like, "The Penthouse? The Penthouse is the worst strip club in the world." Okay, the girls got bullet holes in their ass. The guards that are out front got shirts on that say on the back, "Don't shoot them." Okay, right. So I'm like, "I ain't going down there." He said, "He's gonna give you 5 minutes." Right. So he comes over to my house. It's February. It's freezing. I got my Datsun B210 ready.
Right.
Boom! The radiator breaks. Right. The radiator breaks.
Right.
He gets right back on the bus like nothing. "I'll be back next week." He comes back next week. My radiator's fixed. I said, "Let's go." So we go down to this club, and the manager comes out. Says him. He's like, "Yeah, that's my man. You got 5 minutes, man." And so I'm going, "Well, Howard, what do you want me to do?" He said, "I don't care what you do. Just get on that mic and say something." I said, "All right." I got up there.
Had you worked out anything?
No. He just said, "Hey, he knows me."
Okay.
From the first thing I said, they laughed. And I'm sitting here with you now. It was like that.
Did you always want to be in showbiz because you took a job as an assistant chef? Were you running away from this? What was going on?
No, I wanted to be a singer.
Okay.
That was my thing. I started out with the Jackson 5, and I played in bands, and I had grown men coming over and asking my mom, "Can he come and gig in our band?"
Right.
So that was my thing. I was going to be a big music star.
Okay.
I didn't really like comedy that much. I like Pryor.
Right.
Because he'll make you laugh no matter what, right? But I'm a big fan of the Ohio Players and the Eagles, and that was my whole stilo. I watched Carol Burnett, and I'm into the music, right?
Okay.
And so it didn't look like that was going to happen. When I got about 14, I want to do what everybody else did.
Right.
You know, like play football and play basketball and all this stuff. Well, that ended when I was 15.
Right.
because I went away for one summer, and I came back, and
They knocked the
everybody
football out of you.
everybody was bigger. I'm talking about 3 times my size, and I went in there to one practice, and I was like, okay, that's it. So, that career is over, right? And so I always had singing, and that's one of my weapons.
Right.
That I have in my arsenal.
Right.
You know, but comedy, I didn't know I really had it. I found out because the teacher would go, oh, so you the comedian.
Right.
You going down to the principal's office.
Okay.
You know, you gonna put up the Black Power fist and we doing the national anthem. You know?
Right.
So the comedy came out of my mother, who's white.
Right.
Right? And my family, who's white, who comes down to the elementary school and says he'll learn the national anthem. Right? She used to like to do this.
Right.
But that's all he knows about himself. He knows, say it loud, I'm black and I'm proud. He knows who he is.
Right.
But you can teach him anything.
Right.
Because he'll pick up on it. So I just was just funny because I love happiness. I love laughing.
Right.
And I come from the laughingest neighborhood in the world in DC, Summer Hill, and we would tear you up.
Right.
So it was already there, but a lot more was there than I could ever imagine.
So were you a class clown?
I think I was a class clown on
Or were you trying to get attention?
No, I was a class clown on steroids. Okay, I didn't have to get no attention because I finished my work so fast.
Right.
That then I was just balling.
Okay.
You know what I mean? It's like I loved to see people happy.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like the teacher would go, "Hey, I'll be chewing gum and you know." The teacher would go, "Hey, do you have enough gum for everybody else?" I go, "Sure do. Got to hear Juicy Fruit Plenty Pack."
Right.
Get out of here! You know, it's like,
Right.
like I had all the answers.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
And so my timing was already impeccable.
Right.
You know, I watched everybody do everything, and I didn't know they were even impressions. That's the reason why my mother kept saying, "Man, shut up." I did Al Jarreau, boom, chicka, boom, ding, boom, bing, I damn, she be dead. She said, "Could you shut that up?" Until she saw him on TV, and she said, "Do that again." You know, so that was me anyway.
Right.
You know, Stallone was around my house, Mick. Oh, Mick, why you live around my house? My house stink, Mick. There ain't stinks, Mick. I never asked you for no favors. Yeah, me to fight the fight. I'll fight the fight. You want to be there, Mick? And it just stuck.
Right.
Like, and I don't really practice.
Right.
If I hear something long enough,
Right.
it's going to register.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like Obama, I couldn't get him. So I said, just shut up and just listen to him.
Mm-hmm.
Next thing you know, he's on Shay. And he's having a good time. He's enjoying the warmth of a fireplace. The only thing missing here is some marshmallows and you have some s'mores in here. You know what I mean? I'm not talking about the comedian some more. I'm talking about s'mores. Yeah.
The NFL season is going strong, and DraftKings Sportsbook is hooking new customers up with an offer that's even stronger. Bet $5 on any game this week to score $200 instantly in bonus bets. And DraftKings isn't stopping there. All customers can take advantage of a sweetener offer every game day this October. Get in on game day greatness. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use code Shannon. New customers can score $200 instantly in bonus bets when you bet $5 on the NFL. That's code Shannon only on DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. The crown is yours. So, from the strip club, then you start doing what?
Yeah, then I started doing, I opened up for singers.
Okay.
I didn't get to a club for a year.
Okay.
So Patti LaBelle saw me. She said, "You're incredible." Kenny G saw me. He said, "You're incredible." Freddie Jackson saw me. "You're incredible." Luther Vandross, Anita Baker went on their tour. Because I did singing impressions too.
Right.
You know, and that's what helped me a lot. You know, Rick James, you know.
Wow, I didn't know that.
I love you just the same. Mary, I love you, baby, baby, baby. Mary, don't play no games. You know, so I can go hard.
Right.
And so that's what it was. But people were saying, you need to play in the clubs.
Right.
Right? And I'd never been in a club. The first night I went to a club, Sinbad was in town.
Okay.
Right? Sinbad had won Star Search. Remember Star Search?
Yes,
That was
yes,
a long time ago.
yes.
So all the comics were at one club in DC. That's the night I met Martin and Dave Chappelle for the first time.
Wow.
We all from the same city.
Right.
And so that's the point I started working clubs.
Okay.
But the big break was I won the Apollo. I didn't win it,
Right.
but I won it.
Right.
You know, I don't know how you fix an audience, but
Right.
the dude did it. You know, there was a singer, Dave Peterson, and there was me, and you do it by applause.
Right.
So the guy goes, Dave Peterson, Tommy Davidson, Dave Peterson, Tommy Davidson, and then he goes, all right, guys, all right. Do you want Tommy Davidson from Washington, D.C.? Or do you want Dave from New York City? And I was like,
But he got you.
out of there.
So how did you? So you go from that and you audition.
Mm-hmm.
You were the first to audition for In Living Color, correct?
I was the first to get the part.
Wow.
To get the part. My audition didn't go too well.
Yeah, I heard you bombed.
I
heard you
based that. You're right. I based that on the look in their face when I was done.
Right.
Because I was going out the room and they was like, "Hey man, see you around, man." Hey.
So what did they ask you to do? So you going in for an audition on Living Color?
Right. I thought I didn't know what improv was.
Right.
Right. So I'm going to try to improv. Right. So they asked me crazy questions like, "You're a drunk Puerto Rican cab driver,
Right,
trying to talk to your customers,
right?
You know, hijo, if you're going to go downtown, I don't go downtown. You know, and I did all these things quick, and it was over.
Right.
That was the audition. I didn't get no feedback, and it was over. The reason why I got it, because I was so strong in stand-up. I was so strong in stand-up. I had that football principle.
Right.
You know, repetition, 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 and then stuff starts becoming like an instinct.
Right.
So I was 30th that night out of 30 of the hottest comics in the business.
Okay.
Leguizamo, Jim Carrey, Jamie Foxx, everybody wanted the show.
Right.
And there I was, right? 30th. Okay? And as I'm on the sidewalk, because I never watched other comedians,
Right.
you know what I mean? I just kind of did my own thing. And my manager kept coming out and going, "You can't do this bit because somebody did that one." Right? And then they come out again and say, "You can't do that bit because such and such did that one." So my show was getting a little bit shorter as I go. But I was confident in what I had because we always worked. We worked on comedy with a discipline. My manager had a stopwatch. I know how much 2 minutes is, 6 minutes is, an hour, 46 minutes, 2 minutes. You know, just by running through my stuff, and I knew my stuff really, really well.
Right.
I hated it. I hated it that he'd take me out to the pool and make me work on my stand-up when no one's around and get the time in, but I'm glad he did.
Did you know that you were about to be part of history?
Nah, not at all. I knew that the real thing about the whole thing was I actually was about to go home. You know, I'd had enough of Hollywood, man.
Mm-hmm.
I've been here. I kicked ass for 3 years in the clubs.
Okay.
I had a job back home. I had a Celica GT, a 78 that I got from my mother's credit union.
Okay.
And I still had my B210. I had an apartment.
Right.
You know, with wall-to-wall carpet and a cat. You know, and plenty of roaches though. I mean,
Right.
I ain't mind. You just take the hamper and shake it out in the street every couple of months. You know what I mean? They love wicker, by the way. So I'm, you know, I came out here and I was catching the bus.
Right.
You couldn't catch me on the bus alive, boy, because we used to go to do laundry on the bus.
Yeah.
Our groceries on the bus.
Yeah.
Life was the bus, and we lived in the winter too.
Yeah.
So I'm on the bus, 3 a day. Okay?
Right.
I'm working up till 1 in the morning, and I'm up at like 5, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because once I get off around 3-ish or something like that, I start at the clubs. And we hit every club until no one was open no more.
Right.
And they were saying to me for 3 years, and I was turning it out, they were saying, "You're not what we're looking for. You're not what we're looking for."
So what were they looking for?
Well, it looked like all the white comics weren't getting that comment, and they weren't getting standing ovations.
Right.
So I surmised that it was that. you know. And some things to me are like societal rules that are in between the rules.
Right.
Like I used to be late to school. My sister looks like Cindy Brady, okay?
Okay.
All right, my brother looked like David Cassidy. I mean, y'all gotta be old.
Yeah.
All right. But I'd go to school late and she'd go to school late, and the punishment for that was you have to sign up for detention.
Right.
She used to be able to go straight to class, and I had to sign up for detention. So here come my mother again. I used to think she was crazy. She came, sat down with the principal, who was black. She said, okay, so what is the problem here? And he was going, what's going on, Miss Davidson, what's going on? She said, why does my daughter get to go to class and my son have to sign up for detention? And he said, well, we didn't know that was your daughter, man. She said, why does that make any difference? You know? And he said, we'll get that straight, but my mother does this, man. She said, you're coming with me today. And I was like, oh man, here come one of these speeches. She took me to the park. She sat me on a picnic bench, me and her. She would talk to me. She said, I need you to know something about the world you live in, okay? It's gonna bother you, but it's a fact. She said, your sister can actually be late, but you can't. If you wanna be successful in this world, you can't be late at all. It's just the way it works, you know? And I hated that.
Right.
I wanted to cry, but she was right. So I thought it was that rule.
Right.
I just connected to that, but I kept going. And I started getting more and more. I won at the Comedy Store because finally I got a shot in the main room.
Right.
Okay, this is the big night. Pryor's there and Richard's there and everybody plays that room, you know, and I got a call from the Comedy Store. And they said, you're in the main room tonight. And I was like, oh, okay, who am I hosting for?
Right.
You're like, who am I bringing on? I'm emceeing. They was like, no, you're on the show.
Wow.
I was like, what? Okay, so then who am I hosting for? They said, no, you got 30 minutes. I said, I got 30 minutes, never got that.
Right.
30 minutes, but I could do an hour.
Right.
Right? 30 minutes? Who else is on the show? They told me, Eddie Murphy and Richard Pryor, it's just y'all three.
Wow.
Okay?
Ooh, it's pressure.
Richard's on first. It's two shows a night, Friday and Saturday. Eddie goes on first, the first show Friday, and Pryor goes second, and it's flip flop for the other.
Right.
Right, and then the very next night, it was the same thing. And how did I do?
How did you do?
Francis Asbury Tarkenton dropped back and hit his receivers for 80 yards in the third quarter. But then Larry Zonka gave the Purple People Eater intergestion as he used his helmet as a batter ram. Bang! Okay? I'm an old NFL film.
I see.
You know what I mean? Yeah, it was like the interception with
John Facenda.
Yeah, the interception with
Willie Davis.
Yeah, baby. That's what it was because it was time.
Right.
It was my time.
How was it? You mentioned you got Jim Carrey, who's not Jim Carrey yet.
Right.
You got Jamie Foxx, who's not Jamie Foxx yet. You mentioned John Leguizamo. I mean, there's so many. You got the Wayans, who were. How was it? How did the egos mesh? How did you divvy up time? How did you determine who's going to do this kid, who's going to be with that person, who's going to be with this person?
Kind of like when you was with TD and McCaffrey and them.
Yeah.
And they had another running back I like. He's coach now, Tony Anthony.
Anthony Lynn.
Yeah, just kind of how you felt. You know, you got to play your game no matter what.
Play your
role. You want the ball though.
Yeah.
You want the ball.
But if you're having success, everybody's going to.
Right.
There's enough of the pie to go around.
Exactly. You know what I mean? So it's like, you know, when we got on that platform, everything counted. And Keenan was smart. He knew how to get the best out of us.
Right.
He made us work against each other, not in a negative way.
Right.
But if it's not funny, it won't make the show. Period. You got to work with the writers yourself. Wow. And write your own sketches.
Right.
You got to present your characters to us, everybody, to the writers, to the producers, to the actors. You got to present it to everybody.
Right.
You got to be funny in that room, and that goes on the show.
Did you?
Okay, next.
Did you guys ever work together? Did you say, okay, Jamie, hey, check this out. What do you think about this, this, and this? Or did you get with Jim Carrey and say, Jim, what do you think about this? David Allen Greer was also on that show. So did you guys get together and says, okay, I think we'll be great if we do this?
Yeah, but that happened with everybody in Living Color. That's why it was special. Because we did it with the cameramen. We did it with the makeup women. We did it with the wardrobe people. Everybody had a feedback.
Okay.
So when we were in rehearsal,
right,
we were all giving each other, no, don't do that, don't do that, man. Remember you said the chicken before.
Right.
You said don't say that, don't say a pelican or a duck, man. Say the chicken. Didn't the chicken work, y'all?
Right.
So we're all in it together.
Right.
We're all in it together. But that one sketch that you're the lead of, that's your sketch.
Right.
So the more you were seen, what? You know what I mean?
Right. The more laughs you got, the more opportunities you're gonna get for the next episode to be up in more skits.
Exactly. It's like who told me this? Lonzo Highsmith. You know Lonzo?
Yeah, I do know High.
Right. High told me. I said, you can probably play right now, couldn't you? Well, I could probably play right now. I could probably play maybe a quarter. He said, but I ain't got another training camp in me.
Right.
It's like that. It's like do right. People on your shoulder, the whole thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so that's what it was.
But how do you make it funny a second and third time? Because like normally, like save that for the show.
Yeah.
Don't leave that on the cutting room floor. So how if somebody's heard it? Because normally something's only funny once.
Right.
So how do you and then make sure?
Yeah. I think Keenan did that and he created a monster. So he said, y'all get one take. You know, the rest of it's yours. Don't never tell us that. We improv'd everything from that first take.
Oh, okay.
We had a competition going under the radar.
Right.
What can I say that you haven't heard before that's gonna make you laugh right in the middle of the sketch? And we was doing that constantly. So if you watch the show,
right,
Jim Carrey could be going, I did a fire, and fire was it what? And did that, do that again, hold on. He caught a quick one-hander. He did a quick out. You see that?
Yeah.
And you be over there going, because I'm playing this serious guy named Benny, and he's supposed to be in my mansion. You know what I mean? But Jim Carrey, when he gets hit by the sutures, by the emergency squad, he doesn't just go down.
Right.
Like, he's supposed to go down to the floor, you know, and then get up and say his line. Benny, I'm a fire marshal. Well, when he goes down, he goes. I'm a fire marshal. Okay? Now the director is saying, cut, stop it, Jim. Stop that. We don't have time. We can't be, I lost my cell on them. We don't have time. You know, we got to get to the next thing we're doing.
Right.
Take two. And action. Okay? 8 times. And I'm in tears.
Right.
My eyes are swole. Jim, you can't do it again. He said, I ain't got to. That's how we were. We got so bad because Keenan said, y'all can bust loose. He got to the point where he was coming back to us in the back and going, damn, I got winded by that, Jim. Let me breathe for a second, man. He came back to the back and would say to us, you guys, we're gonna lose the show. We're gonna lose the show. If y'all keep doing that, we're gonna lose the show. I can't keep these censors off of you. I can't, you guys gotta help me, man.
Right.
And he'd leave the room and we were like, yeah, right. Right. You know what I mean? Because that's why it was special.
Right.
People got the real thing.
When you found out, why do you think the show was canceled?
I can only imagine. Because Keenan's the one that knows. But I just think that we weren't utilizing the whole cast.
Right.
You know, we at a point we only utilized
Jim and
certain players, you know what I mean?
Right.
And it didn't take away from the talent
right.
of the group. But that's what made the team.
Right.
You know? So, you know, it was the thing that made In Living Color the best was you didn't know what you were going to see because there were so many different variations.
Right.
So they started seeing it in repetition. And I think what they asked, and this is only me being there
From
and
eyes,
watching
yeah.
and trying to be objective, they started asking for new episodes. Like, you got to give us something new.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Or we're going to run reruns. And so he didn't feel too good about that. That's his show anyway.
Right.
If I were him, I'd say, I don't know if you're going to tell me what to do with my show.
Right.
You know what I mean? His job probably hard enough trying to get everybody in there.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
And then deal with us on the. I mean, we were hard.
Right.
We were really hard, but we just wouldn't stop.
Right.
You know? And so I think that's what happened, but I don't really know because I wasn't there
You were in
that
the meeting
with Fox, you know. I wasn't there. Pep. You know Pep? Dante.
Dante Coleman?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Dante ends up leaving Minnesota. All the players are like, hey, he was my best friend. We used to have an orphanage together. There was, you know, I got introduced to the NFL years ago. You know,
Yeah.
I got an NFL thing. And he ended up leaving.
Right.
And they said, well, what happened? He said, man, I went and talked to the owner, and that was that. He shared with some other people,
Right.
you know, the inside of whatever
Right.
happened.
Right.
But you're not really going to know unless you were there.
There.
There wasn't podcast then.
Right.
Where you can get, and once it's over, you can
Right.
talk freely and not have
Right.
to worry about, you know, the good old boy network busting you down or none of that.
Right.
You know, you can talk freely, but you have to keep something to yourself
Yeah.
then.
Right.
You know?
How much of what you guys did then would you be able to get away with now?
We probably be on the air for about, we probably be on the air for about 5 minutes. You know what I mean? Because we just gonna go for it.
Right.
Yeah, we gonna be canceled.
Right.
You know, by culture, the cancel
Cancel culture.
thing. Yeah, as soon as we, you know, you're living cancel culture.
Right.
You float on the moon like a balloon. Just cancel culture.
Right.
You know, you're never too late and it's never too soon. Take it to me, it's all right to be canceled. Okay.
Yeah.
But in truth, it shouldn't happen to us. Why? Because how you gonna do culture cancel of us? How are you gonna cancel culture? We are culture.
Right.
How do you cancel something you are?
Right.
We're everything that you are, right?
Right.
We emphasize on gays. We emphasize on Mexicans, Asians, whites. We're a societal show that shows each and every aspect of the humor and the love that our country has that binds us.
Right.
You see what I mean? And that's what made us really, really good. There was really no division on the show.
Right.
It was all black and white.
Right.
You know? Black people, if you ask them in a consensus what their favorite shows are, they'll probably put Andy Griffith first. Lucy.
Right.
Beverly Hillbillies. I can go on to Bionic Man.
Right.
You know, it ain't just Good Times, and you can ask
Right.
white people.
Yeah.
What was your favorite show? They probably put what's the one? We're moving on up, move.
Jefferson.
They put that first.
Right.
They put the Jefferson first. They put Good Time first. You know, we all always laughed at the same things.
Right.
If we didn't, Al Jolson would have never had a career.
Right.
You know, way back then, that's how everybody talked.
Right.
It was an accepted thing with blackface. You see? And that's how we got to that stage in culture. Was because them boys came home from Vietnam, right? We got busing. Women got their lib going.
Right.
You know, Mexicans got their rights. You know, the farm pickers and that whole thing. It was just this whole culture thing that happened in the 70s where it was cool and hip. It was actually hip to know other people's culture.
Right.
It actually was cool when you held hands with people and you said the word love.
Right.
And peace. Love and peace were in style.
Right.
Right? The big old peace sign and right on, brother. You see
Right.
that coming from both the hippies and us.
Right.
You see?
Right.
So we got to that point, right? And so this was an outgrowth of that, where we were doing, you know, we did Lucy, but we did it our style.
Right.
You see what I mean?
Right.
We did the Honeymooners. We did we did parodies of everything that we saw when we were kids.
Right.
And everything that we saw in our Hollywood adult life, movies. Three Champs and a Baby. You know, me and Jamie used to do that. Those two bodyguards.
Right.
Right. So I go, you ain't Tupac. And he go, man, yeah, you ain't Tupac. Because if you Tupac, you be coming in here like Drake. right.
Right.
Well, that was actually from Rain Man.
Right.
The sketch was called Main Man. So it's just a black version of Rain Man.
Right.
So we were just a reflection of what culture really is.
Right.
And didn't it change everything?
It did.
Nothing's been the same.
Right.
Right? Mm-hmm. The corporations went to the bank, right? In the billions by now, right? Gatorade, Nike, PlayStation, went to the moon, right? The sneaker
Right.
boom went, we were hip hop.
Right.
Before hip hop got corporate. Mm-hmm. So we launched that revolution, and then we launched the revolution out in the suburbs where they're all white kids, a few black ones, right? Then we launched a revolution in the inner city schools because those kids couldn't believe they were having that.
Right.
And they were seeing themselves in roles. You see? So they probably could try to cancel culture us if we came out, but I don't think it would be nothing pretty.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And that's not what we were about.
Right.
You know?
Right.
So if we can't talk about nothing, we might as well talk about nothing until it's all right to talk about something. You know what I mean?
Do you feel Keenan gets the credit he deserves? That family and what he in Living Color, you had to see it. You had to. I mean, back then you recorded it, or you found a way to get home, but you had to see what you guys were going to do. Does he get the credit that he deserves?
No, and even I give him credit that I didn't really realize until after the show.
Right.
I didn't know how much of a genius he was when it comes to comedy. I didn't know his people skills were so, amazing. Okay? He, as a producer, he was an unbelievable writer. He's an unbelievable director. He'd already directed 3 movies.
Right.
To do that show. His family make you jealous. Because when they see each other, even the guys kiss each other on the cheek when they see each other. I'm like, damn, I couldn't have a family like that. You know?
Right.
It's like, hey, brother, hey, mwah, mwah, and they hug.
Right.
For a minute, you got, what is this family? You know what I mean? So they had love too.
Right.
You know?
Right.
He's out of New York City, so he got a street sense, but went to college, got a book sense, but he got his own sense, got good sense. His mom and his daddy, hardworking.
Right.
You see? But it's his genius. I'll give you an example. We were doing, he asked me, we had to come up with stuff because it wouldn't get on the show, so we had to say we knew something. So he said, Tommy, sitting there, everybody looking through this group, Tommy, do you have a Michael Jackson sketch? I said, yep. And then my mom was like, you ain't got no you told him yes, now. He said, I want it tomorrow. I said, cool. I ran upstairs, I grabbed the writer, man. Me and the writer wrote the song out, wrote the sketch out. I called the guy who does all the music.
Right.
I went right from the job to his house. We stayed up until 6 in the morning and recorded that thing. He recorded it, put it together. We took it in. That afternoon, we put that sketch on his feet, with all the stuff, cameras and everything. Because Keenan had heard the song. He said, let's do it. And set up all the other production stuff. So we're in there. I'm singing the song and walking through, and then stop, do this part, stop, do this part, and we do all this stuff, right? We're running plays, right?
Right.
Just to get it in your, so after this first snap, you ain't gotta, it's in you, right? So this is when Keenan comes in. Keenan comes in when all that's done, and Keenan just goes, do this, do that. So Keenan comes over, he goes, okay, Tommy, when you're walking down the sidewalk, from here to here, don't just walk. Anybody got any chalk? We're gonna put a hopscotch there for you. So you hopscotch from there to here, okay? So then when you go down the rest of the sidewalk, you're gonna get to here, right? This is the edge of the sidewalk. So do we have a fan? One of those big giant fans? Yes, we do. I'm gonna have a bunch of leaves and wind just blow you back, okay? When you go to hit the car window, don't just hit the car window, go, you know what I mean? And then he came up with that last line. He said, am I black or white? And Keenan said, you're under arrest. The police says you're under arrest. And then I look at the camera and go, well, I guess I am black.
Right.
He just tops it off.
Right.
He just tops it off. You knew somebody like that who don't get credit, Shanahan.
Right.
Y'all wasn't supposed to win nothing.
Right. Yeah.
All y'all played Regal football, all y'all were just like any other team.
Right.
But he was able to find a way
To make it work.
to get y'all working together and for y'all to buy into your roles.
Right.
And look what happened.
Right.
Twice. I saw in that Atlanta game, right? Atlanta came down twice. Bap, bap, bap. They going for the third one. All right, we coming in this first quarter, right? So they ran a play, and Romanowski blitzed and just missed him by an inch. Somebody on the sideline must have said, do it again.
Right.
Because they came and did it again. You know, Rome got him. Bam, and it changed the emotion on the sideline. You ain't look back because that momentum.
Right.
That momentum came
Right.
back. You know, it's kind of like the same science.
The writers on the show, how much credit does the writers get? Because you said a lot of what you did was between you and the writers. And so you guys have to be in sync. It's just like Ginger Rogers and Fred Astaire.
Yep.
She had the hardest job because she had to do what he was doing backwards, but she had to do it in heels.
Right.
So they're writing this.
That's a pretty good observation, man.
You know, so how difficult was it their job? Because they've got to write according to you.
Right.
Because what might be good for you might not be good for Jamie or David Allen Greer or Jim Carrey or John Leguizamo. So how was that? And you're writing with different guys all the time. It's not the same writer every single week.
Right. It's got to be a personal process. You know, the best writers know all that. And so they'll do their own homework.
Okay.
You know, they'll go, oh, Tommy, I didn't write this, but how would you say that? You know?
Right.
Would you say that like that? Because I'm thinking if you said it this way, then that would be the opposite of how you would say it.
Right.
So, you know, and I'll say, well, let's try them both when we go to the rehearsal.
Right.
If one don't work, I'll do the other one. They were there every inch of the way. When they stopped something, one of the writers would come in and go, don't forget that you did that about the purple bunny, man. You can't forget that. Come on, man, it's killing. Like that.
Right.
And so they were involved in it, and I'll give you their credits. Okay? Friends, Martin, how many shows are they responsible for? They actually were they are actually the executive producers of the hottest and best shows that lasted the longest in Hollywood, our writers.
Wow.
And we had a veritable a difference in every writer. We had Franklin Ajay, we had black writers, white writers, Jewish writers, Spanish writers, we had all kind of writers.
Right.
Okay? And they were all, and a lot of them were really, really smart kids.
Right.
They went to college and with degrees, and this is the thing. So they're bringing a lot of intelligence to the sketches.
Right.
You know what I mean? They can match the intelligence, the natural intelligence of us.
Right.
With what we had to deal with this country. We got to be real brilliant. Because we was like, well, we can't do nothing, but we got to do something.
Right.
And we get that something done, you know?
They look at it and people say, well, there was a lot of nepotism going on because he had his brothers in, he had his sisters in. And I heard Marlon say it's like, F nepotism. He says, I'm doing this, and if I can't put my family on, what the hell am I doing it for?
And it's true. And he's right about it. But let's just say the receiver in the game is your brother.
Right.
All right? And it's 25 on the clock, you know? You got about 2 passes that's going to him, and he'll drop everything from game on back.
Right.
Who you going to? Just because? You see what I'm saying?
Right.
We're on the field and we're playing the game.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
It wasn't like they weren't doing their job and they were still getting roles. They were performing.
Right, but they got a chance to play.
Right.
There's a lot of people that were JUCO and should have been in the league and you know it.
Right.
But it's a game. It's bigger than just the actual activity.
Right.
So once I saw that and realized that, if you're on the other end of it, and it doesn't feel so good because you want to be a part of it.
Right.
With me personally, I just wanted to be a part of the family.
Right.
You know, and I am.
Right.
And I am. The first thing his father said to me, his father loved me. His whole family loved me. I got a movie. I was the first one to get a big movie, Strictly Business.
Right.
With Halle Berry.
Yeah.
Right. So a lot of people were easy with that. And I was kind of like, man. But when I went to the premiere, it was me and Halle in the limousine. And we drive up and we get out and the rope is there and all the people are there. And guess who's there? His father. And his father goes, Tommy! Tommy Davidson, baby.
He's proud of you like he's a father.
Yeah.
Like you're his son.
Yeah, and Keenan treated me like he was one of his brothers. You know, I'm going through trouble or whatever. He'll say, hey, man, you got to get that right. You know?
Right.
You work too hard.
Right.
I froze up on my first sketch on In Living Color.
Right.
Right? So, because I realized I was on TV. So I'm ready, and I'm this comic that came from D.C., and I'm ready to do this sketch, right? And I saw the red dot on the camera, and I was like, I turned into like a skull, right? And I'm there. You know, and they go, Tommy. And then finally, Damon walked over to me. He put his arm around me, man. He said, nigga, you work way too hard to get here. You over in that apartment with your baby. You know, I watch you in them clubs. All you gotta do is do it. You know? And that's how they are. So it's a half a dozen to one. You know, it's a tough process because you want to win the game.
Right.
Right? But the way that the game is played, you know, I don't care how you slice it. It's team.
Right.
And roles. You know, you don't get that stuff. I remember Denny Green when when the Vikings were packed. Mm-hmm. They had Chris, they had Moss, they had Robert. Remember Roberts? They had every Jordan at T. They had that defense. They had everything. Pep. They had it all. They were the machine, and they lost in the first round of Phoenix. You remember that? And so they were broken because that was their year, right? They should have been in Atlanta, right? I guess so, right? I guess they'd have been playing y'all.
Yeah, they lost to the Falcons in the championship game.
Yeah, and that
was Randall Cunningham.
Right, and that hurt me because I'm a Minnesota fan.
Right.
Long story. So
how you gonna be that fan? You had just came and did our Super Bowl party.
Hey man,
what kind of bull job is that?
Hey man,
you done came and did our food, ate our food, got our money.
Hey, I'm a player. Pay me. That was Neil Smith.
I know.
Yeah, Neil was like, that's my man. Yeah. And that's when I discovered. I learned through the players what the game really is.
Right.
It's a freaking war, man. It ain't no joke.
You look at Jim, we're going to talk about some of the guys that came from the show. Jim, and he was as big. I mean, the range that he has, Ace Ventura, The Mask, Truman Show. I mean, you look at what he was like. Why hasn't he been Liar Liar? Why hasn't he been as active recently as he was?
I only know from my personal standpoint. He's done what he wanted to do. He's hit his pinnacle. He's made as much money as he can make or whatever, right? I just know him as a person.
Right.
He's one of my best friends.
Right.
And he just wants to become a better person.
Right.
And do better things.
He's
about him, what's going on.
He's a tremendous motivational speaker.
Yeah, it's about what's going on him on the inside because he knows that those outside things aren't going to fix you.
Right.
So he strives to just stay on what got him there.
Right.
You know, knowledge of his family, where he grew up.
Right.
You know, just all of that stuff that counts.
Right.
You know, when I got in some of my not final interviews, but later, when I'd established myself, I would have people ask me, you know, what was your greatest accomplishment? And I'd start naming projects. Now I just say, my greatest accomplishment was being Barbara Davidson's youngest son, Tommy.
Wow.
Because that meant something.
Right.
You know, my mother was the kind of woman that would like, you know, we was on welfare.
Right.
You know, and we coming up the stairs with groceries. You know, and she would start giving the little kids food, man.
Right.
She said some of them were so small they can only carry one carton of milk.
Right.
You know? And I used to say, what are you doing? I used to think she was crazy, and she'd get up in my face too. What you mean, what am I doing? I'm doing it. Ask me what I'm doing. You got everything you need? I was like, yes, ma'am. Okay. I'm proud to be her son.
Right.
Because I still have that in me. She was trying to show me the universal law of exchange.
Right.
That if you give, you'll always have.
Right.
A closed hand can't receive or give.
Right.
So she taught me that. And I realized that that's my greatest accomplishment.
Right.
Now I can get an iron, statue.
Yeah.
I'd like to have one, without the smack. And without the dig 'em smack.
Yeah.
No one called it dig 'em smack, huh?
You almost got one. Though.
Yeah. I almost got one.
Yeah, before.
Yeah,
you let him in before Clear Rock.
Hey.
I was going to bring that up, but
hey,
you
that's all right.
What you trying to do?
Is this Club Shay Shay?
Yeah, it is.
All right, it's Club Shay Shay.
So we talking, we tell it.
All right, he at the Laker game talking, what are y'all gonna do? 11 dudes. You know what I mean? Yeah. 11, hold on. I'm like, hold on. I'm like,
I'm
hold
trying
on.
to forget that.
That's South Carolina. Okay, that's a long story. South Carolina? Are you kidding me? So he at the edge of the court going, what? Which one of y'all want something? It's like, I'm like, it ain't one of them. it's a whole, just really quick about South Carolina, okay? And I leave it alone.
I'm from Georgia.
Huh? I know you was from Georgia. I thought you was from South.
No, my brother went to South Carolina.
Okay. No, y'all wasn't from South Carolina? Mm-mm. Okay, then I ain't gonna talk about it.
Okay.
We're gonna put that back there.
Okay.
But I heard that there were more players in the league from South Carolina than anywhere.
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
Probably Texas, California, Florida. Georgia, we in there though.
Okay. Skip, what are you? No. No. I do it. But it's like I forgot what I was saying. Where was I? Oh, that. Yeah. Trigger Me Again.
Jim Carrey.
And you see these grays right here.
I got a few myself. Mm-hmm. Well, you forgot to die before you came in today.
Mm-hmm. Let me tell you,
you ain't want to look young.
Yeah, that's why I put this on. It kind of balances out. You know, if I don't wear this and I wear a white T-shirt, you'll be going, we're doing a show with Bentley tonight. Cookie, what is his name? The old dude did the cookies?
Amos.
Yeah, you're famous. We got Dick Gregory here tonight.
Yeah.
So, but you were saying about Jim, right? That's when I realized, you know, that this wasn't about as much.
Right.
You know, me and Will had a run-in.
Yeah, God, you tried.
Yeah.
You tried to put his wife in a lip lock.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't find out that for 15 years because he never told me that. See, he came into the trailer and I was sitting down, right? He's standing over me like this, and he's like, "I don't appreciate that, man. I don't appreciate that." And I'm like, "Well, what you talking about?" I always know to play it off.
Right.
You know what I mean?
His tone.
Well, I'm sitting down.
So, hold on. This was 15 years later? Or was it?
No, this was then. And then I didn't find out why.
Right, okay.
I was asking him why then, but he wouldn't say nothing.
Right.
And I'm going, what's going on, man? Tell me what's happening, man. And since he was standing and I was sitting, I was a real nice fella. I mean, that's about physics, right?
Right.
So I'm like, you know, oh, man, what's going on, man? I mean, hey, man. He's like, I don't appreciate that. You know what I'm saying? And Jada's going, Will, I'm saying, but, I mean, what's happening, man? Now, you tell me what's happening. You know when a dude does this.
He bite his bottom lip. He about to do something bad.
He might do something, right? So I'm like, you know, I did the whole, you remember the snake?
Yeah.
I did the snake. Well, what, you know, and got up.
Right.
And then I was like, you know, so what are you talking about, man? And I was still in that posture.
So you didn't really know what he was actually talking about?
I didn't, but I know what he was doing.
Right.
So I was like, come on, man. I mean, what's up? Just tell me what's up.
Right.
Yeah, you know what's up. You know what's up. So finally I just said, this is a small place and people are here. We should talk about it.
Right.
Me and you outside, because it looked like you're gonna need to get something off your chest, right? And then Jada was like, oh, no, y'all. And I was like, what do you mean, nah, y'all? Tell him. And that was the end of that.
Right.
You see?
Right.
And I never knew. It wasn't until my book came out years later where I counted that as one of the things that really bothered me and hurt me bad, because I didn't know, and I look up to him and I love him to death.
So you really didn't know why he was upset. You had no earthly idea that it was because of an on-screen kiss or attempt to kiss or what was going on.
No. You know, but I didn't know why when I was taking the subway up with my cousin uptown to the Bronx, I didn't know why when we were 14 and why these 19, 18, 20-year-olders on the other side of the train are looking at us going, what? What? We'll bust your ass. What? I ain't know that neither.
Right.
But I still was like, huh?
Right.
You know, waiting for that damn...
So 15 years later, how did you find out?
This is how I found out. I put it in the book, you know, and I found out about literature. You can't put something in a book about somebody unless they sign off on it.
Right. Oh.
Right. Okay. So I was like, you know, and I didn't want to put stuff like that in the book anyway.
Right.
But I was trying to be real honest about my experiences so I can show that you can go through anything and still be successful and still be a good person.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I was able to do that, but it's not easy.
Right.
You know? but you can do it, right? So I went to his best friend, Charlie Mack. You know Charlie Mack?
I remember the song.
Charlie Mack.
Everywhere
man.
we go downtown to a show, we have
Yeah.
two necessities: Charlie Mack and the limo.
Right. Well, that's like Charlie Mack. You're gonna see him at every game. If it's the Super Bowl, if it's the Kentucky Derby, you're gonna see Charlie Mack, and that's Will's best friend.
Right.
So I called Charlie, and I said, Charlie, what you think about this? He said, yeah. You know, Will cool, and Jada cool too. Just give me the quote, and I send it to him, and they'll call you. They call you, Tom. I send it to him. Call me, him and Jada. They said, yeah, go ahead and put that in there. Go ahead and put that. And what I put was that I thought in the book, I thought the only thing that could be possible was the producers came to my trailer right when we were on the last scene, and it was a kissing scene.
Right.
And they said, the kissing scene's now, not later on tonight. We got to do that now. And I said, but I haven't rehearsed with Jada. That's the most important rehearsal that you can ever have.
Right.
You put your lips on a female on screen.
Right.
And so, and I was like, we never got a chance to work that out. You can make it look real if she's working with you and everything, right? Without kissing, right?
Right.
And so I said, I can't do that. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing it. They said, well, we'll ask her. So they went and came back. She said, just go for it. And even then I was like, I ain't just gonna go for it. You know, but I know I have to make it look real.
Right.
So I'm trying to make it look real, and she's kind of uncomfortable about it. You know?
Right.
But we got through it, and you never could tell.
Right.
That's all I wanted.
Right.
Right? Was to get it to play into the film.
Right.
That's all we want, right?
Right.
You know, you at TE, one wrong block.
Right.
Right?
Right.
I mean, y'all, you know, it ain't like the receivers out here, all the glory.
Right.
All this blocking.
Right.
You know what I mean? So you got to do it right? So I got it in there. And so they called me and said, hey, that is what happened.
Wow.
Yeah, and I didn't find out for that long. It was more than 15 years. That was back in 2000.
Right.
So it was more than that long.
Right.
So I saw that side, you know, and there's nothing you can do in certain circumstances as far as I'm concerned.
Right.
The way that I grew up and saw things.
Right.
You know, I made a good observation after trial by ass whipping.
Right.
Right? Okay?
Right.
When emotions is high, common sense is at all time low.
Yeah.
Common sense is at all time low.
Yeah.
And how low can you go?
Right.
You see what I mean?
Yes.
So knowing that fact and just sticking on to what I learned when I was a little kid, you know, my brother and sister being white and me being black wasn't a big deal to me until I found out I was black. I grew up in Fort Collins, Colorado, and Wyoming.
Okay.
Found in the trash, took it straight out there. And I thought I was a brown one of whatever we were because I saw litters.
Right.
So a black cat can have a white one, a brown one, a speckled one. I thought we were born like that.
Right.
And I'm a brown one of whatever we are.
Right.
Well, when we got to D.C., King had just got shot. There were riots.
Right.
And the black kids the next day were whipping our ass all day. And they were saying, get the white cracker and get the white cracker lover. This is the things I learned.
Right.
You know, and I was going, this is stupid. So I went to my mother, I said, why are they attacking me saying I like white crackers? I like graham crackers. Graham crackers, you don't gotta have water with them or nothing. You just chew them, get you the apple juice and you're good. White cracker, you be like Schwarzenegger in Total Recall. You know, so
Right.
So I found that out, and then that's where the first time I heard the word nigga, you know, okay? Because we moved to the suburbs. Then it was like, kill the nigga, and I'm 5. I'm riding my bike, a whole truck of white boys, barely getting in the door, people throwing stuff through the window.
Right.
Nigga this, nigga that. So I went to my mom, and I said, who are these niggas? We gotta stay away from. You know?
You're talking about you, huh?
Yeah, and she told me. She said, this is one of her speeches.
Right.
She told me, hey, that's what people our color call people your color when they don't like them. I said, what color are you? She said, we're white. I said, no, you're beige. Because I learned my colors from the crayons.
Right.
She said, no, but that's what we call ourselves. And so I said, well, what does nigga mean? She said, well, that's what I mean, what does white cracker mean? She said, that's what your people call our people when they don't like them. I said, well, what color are they? She said, they're black. I said, they're not. They're brown.
Right.
I'm a brown one. And like, that's where my whole, as a child, that messed me up for a long time.
Right.
Because I couldn't believe that I was divided by my loved ones by the color.
Right.
And I always thought that was stupid.
Right.
But it's real.
Right.
You know, it's real. It's not really real.
Right.
Because I am right about the litters.
Right.
And I am right about us.
Right.
Because when we were in different civilizations in different colors, anytime we would come up on another civilization that was a different color, the girls would go, those guys look pretty hot. And the guys would go, them girls look pretty hot.
Right.
And thusly, we start mixing.
Right.
It is the same thing.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
Take a DNA strand.
Right.
And you'll know.
Right.
That wasn't because we exchanged DNAs.
Right.
All right? You know, that's more like D and P's.
Right.
All right? You do Skip, I know, but I'm talking to him.
Right.
No, I better stop.
I'm good.
So, but that was the catalyst, and I think I found my purpose in all that.
Right.
You know, and that's why I feel comfortable saying I'm her greatest accomplishment,
Right.
because I believe I was.
Right.
I think she did that on purpose.
Right. Jamie, I read that you and Jamie didn't always have the greatest relationship on set. Seemingly you guys did a movie together, did Booty Call. So were you able to, what caused the friction and how were you able to get past it?
I got
And shout out to Jamie.
Shout out to Jamie and prayers to
Yeah,
him.
man.
You
Get
know,
well soon, Jamie.
I called him, like I make it a practice to be the first person to call. When something like that, I called Sterl. I was one of the first people to call Sterl. She'll actually call me back. Said thank you. You know what I mean? Because we was all like, what? You kidding me? The number one dude, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like never again. Like we was like, good God. But I compare it to you and Derek.
Right.
You and Derek Thomas.
Right.
Both of y'all specimens. Both of y'all special. Both of y'all got speed. Both of y'all can do what y'all do at the highest level. But on Sunday,
We throw that friendship out the window.
what? Way out the window. Way out the window, because it's a game. And as long as we remember that, you know, once the game is over,
Yeah.
then hey,
Right.
okay, cool.
Okay.
But sometimes we don't remember that.
Right.
You know what I mean? And it takes time and maturity to get to the point where you start seeing it. Yeah, it was a game
Right.
that was tied into my career.
Right.
You know what I mean? So we had our back and forths. You know, we had our negative clashes. You know, one of the things I observed about what Hollywood personalities sometimes experience is an inflated sense of self,
Okay.
and are engaged in an extreme amount of negative competitivism. You put those things together, and gee, you know, look what happens. And I ain't got to point it out. You can see it in every aspect of what we
Right.
do, you know.
Right.
But love that guy. He's like the funniest dude ever, you know.
Yeah.
A little jealous at times because he's so sweet with it. He's sweet with it, man. The way he sing, you know, I'm
Very
like,
talented.
man,
Sing, can play the piano.
man.
Obviously, he have comedic
Oh,
chops.
man.
Has range.
Range, did that Ray thing.
Yeah, he did
And-
Ray. Oh yeah, he did. When he was in the movie with Tom Cruise.
Yeah, man.
He was the taxi cab driver.
Yeah, all the stuff that he's did is lovely.
Yeah.
And I'm a human. I want to do that too.
Right.
You see somebody hoisting it, right?
Right.
You want to hoist it.
Right.
Right? That's just natural.
Yeah.
Good friend of mine told me that's natural to do that because it's natural to want something that somebody else has.
Right.
You know what I mean? But
Just because I want to have it, that doesn't mean I don't want you to have it.
That's what I was
see,
gonna say.
I just see you got it, and I feel comfortable that I can get it.
that's what I was going to say. He said the worst thing is when you don't want something for somebody else.
Right. Yeah. No.
So that propensity
Right.
that's in me,
Right.
I have to find ways to see it straight and
Yeah,
balanced.
right.
So I got asked by TMZ one time, right? They came to me and it was totally right. You know, Jamie's kicking ass, man. He just finished Sunday, the one with Sunday, that movie, and this and that.
Pursuit of Happiness?
And that, the Any Given Sunday.
Any Given Sunday, yeah,
now he's
yeah,
over
yeah.
here, he's doing that and doing this, man. He's doing all these things, man. how do you feel about that? And I said, I beat him in ping pong. 7-0 skunk.
Right.
And he put the paddle down. He wouldn't go no more.
Right.
And I played and I lost him 2 seasons in a row.
Right.
Overtime ping pong games. Finally, I got my touch now. Oh, you got your touch? Whap! Skunk, let's go again. Down. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
It's like, as silly as that, but real as that. Mm-hmm. What does it really mean?
Right.
If I was to judge my success on somebody else's success, I sure am looking at my blessings limited.
Right. Yes. Yes.
You know what I mean?
I do know exactly what you mean.
Yeah.
Because and my thing is that I hate when people say he or she didn't deserve that. Mm-hmm. Who are you to say God made a mistake with my blessing? Yeah. You've heard that?
Yeah, of course I have. But I'm going to talk about a transformation I think you made. Okay? I think somewhere between that last Super Bowl and the next one, you made a decision. And I think it was a good one, but I'm not sure. You said football's over. And I'm going to do me now. And the only way I saw that was I saw a commercial on the Super Bowl. And I was like shocked. It was like about an investment company or something.
Yes, Charles Schwab.
Charles Schwab, but you had the dialogue down.
Right.
It's some stuff I can't even hardly say. But because you got 3%, you got 3% this and that, and the other thing, and you had your helmet on.
How do we calculate the PE ratio? How do
you calculate the PE ratio? No, I'm like, oh my God, and then watched it.
Right.
And watched it grow. I thought that was the period.
Right.
Between that last one.
Right.
What do you think?
I remember doing the commercial, and they did let me ad lib, they let my personality, and I just, when you and you doing it. I mean, I'm not thinking that I'm just doing the thing, and I just remember the producer and the director and everybody said, "Man, that was unbelievable. You did an unbelievable job. You don't realize how good you did."
Okay. And
then when the commercial actually came out, and to have people say that I did a good job, and then people, I'd walk by and people say, "Shannon, do you know how to calculate a PE ratio?" And that's kind of like, okay,
yeah,
I might can do something like this.
Yeah, you did it.
Yeah.
Look where we at. I mean, our internal calculators add up our own stuff from our internal experiences. You know what I mean? So I saw it like that.
Right.
And I just think it's for me it's a wonderful world because I'm here.
Right.
It ain't no guarantee.
Right.
A lot of beautiful, great things happen, like the Denver years for me.
Yeah.
Because not only was I invited by one of my best friends to give the ring ceremony, I did it twice.
Right, I know. Had I known you was a Minnesota Viking fan, I'd have blocked that one.
They are. No, but they became my favorite team for a couple of years.
They did.
How can you not?
You did.
How can you not?
You were around a lot.
Listen, I'm in the booth with bowling.
Right.
Right. Meatballs on request. Right.
Yeah.
I'm seeing one of the cheerleaders. I'm in there with her parents in Pat's booth. They calling me, Neil calling me chicken. He called me at.
Yeah.
You gonna be at the Monday night game with Oakland?
Right.
Come on. On the field. Right?
Yeah.
So, those were my NFL years.
Right.
But I learned something too.
What'd you learn?
That the game doesn't stop on Sunday. It stops on Tuesday. Because y'all go straight from there, early morning straight to the gym. And I was like, why ain't you resting? And Marcus Allen taught me this. Marcus said, well, this is a work down.
Right.
You can't be up that far and then let all that stuff, you be done pulled something.
Right.
So you work it back up.
Right.
And then you rest it so it can get in place.
Right.
You know what I mean? Working on stuff, working on film, all of that.
Right.
And then Tuesday, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I remember we played the Dolphins on a Monday night, and we ended up, getting back. I think we arrived back by the time we got to the plane and got back. I think it was probably 6:30, 7 o'clock. And so it's already Tuesday. and I normally come in on Tuesday anyway.
Okay.
So I just changed, worked out, and then went home.
Okay.
That's how focused I was.
Hold on. I know about Georgia boys. Willie Gault?
Yeah. Willie from Griffin.
Fridge and his brother?
Who?
Fridge and his brother.
Oh, no, they from Aiken, South Carolina.
Okay, see, I'm getting it. I thought I was a Negroologist. I got some more. I got some more.
Willie Gault, Herschel Walker, George Rogers. Those are the guys that you would know. Obviously, Cam is from Georgia. Champ Bailey's from Georgia.
Question: where Dale Carter from?
Dale Carter is from. He's from Georgia. Where did Dale play? I don't know what DC played at. Where did DC?
Georgia, though.
Yeah, he's from Georgia.
Tell me he wasn't the coldest shutdown.
Yeah, I mean,
One of the coldest shutdowns in the league.
Man, I don't know what.
Love Dale. Love Dale.
I don't know. I
think Dale is one of the best, man.
Yeah.
Him and Everson Walls, boy. Yeah. Anyway,
when you're doing that, you see J-Lo. She starts as a fly girl, and now she's one of the biggest stars. Could you project? Could you see that Jim and Jamie and J-Lo and John Leguizamo? Could you foretell that they were going to be that?
Yeah, I could because I know that anything is possible in that business if you're talented.
Right.
You know, but it's the other stuff that has to line up.
Right.
It has to line up right.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
You know, there's all these industries. There's publicity.
Right.
There's the agent industry.
Right.
There's the management industry.
Right.
There's the studios. There's the networks. There's all this stuff that, you know, you got to do right.
Line it up.
You got to do right. And the next step, and the next step, and the next step to get to that point.
Right.
So it's possible to do.
Right.
You know, it's possible because you can navigate it. And it's persistence and all that good stuff, right?
Right.
But I never knew that some of them would stop talking to me when they got to that point.
Oh, man.
See?
Sorry.
So I never knew that because I was always curious.
Right.
You know, how you did it, man.
Right.
I study, you know, like.
So you had the numbers when you was working on Living Color, and then all of a sudden they become something else, and now all of a sudden they do.
Yeah,
the numbers that you call is no longer certain.
All of them but her. All of them but her. I was like, you know.
Oh.
I remember seeing her.
Right.
And this ain't no J-Lo bashing because she's crazy, talented.
Right.
Come on.
Right.
Can't put nothing on her. And she's a great actress too.
Right.
You know, but we used to hang out with me, her, my ex. We used to go to dinner together.
Right.
You know, and I met her with Keenan at Strictly Business.
Right.
Because he brought her in my trailer. I was doing a movie, and I was like, "What is that?"
Right.
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 And then she showed up to be a fly girl, and she worked her ass off.
Right.
She worked her ass off. She was every day, and she was messing around with scripts. I was like, "This girl gonna be something," and she was. So I saw her at the upfronts. It was me and Danny DeVito, and he's like, "There's Jennifer Lopez over there. You don't know her, right?" I'm like, "Yeah, I know her." So I go over there and I'm like, "What's up, girl? Shoot, man, you blew up. What is going on?" She's like, "Hi." I was like, "So what's going on? What's going on?" And, you know, just living like, you know, getting some little carrot dip. You know, I'm going, you know, what's in that carrot dip? You know, because she showed dipping my ass. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so that happened once. And then I was on face break. I had to look around and see if anybody saw that.
Right.
You know? Did anybody just see her put a hatchet through my forehead?
Right.
I'm like, hey, you know? And so we had the same manager at the same time. So I just avoided her because you never know what someone's going through that day.
Right.
I could be misreading it.
Right.
You know, I always got to get the love. But that's from my profile.
Right.
From being the black and between the white and all that. So I'm needy in that way. I can admit that.
Right.
But I do love.
Right. Well, she might be, listen, you can only judge a person by the experience that you have with that person.
Right.
She might be a great person to CJ and Hollywood and all my guy Jordan.
Right.
But your experience in that moment was not love, was not great.
Right. And so I gave it some time and stuff, and I never blamed the person.
Right.
You know, I just try to work with myself.
Right.
You know, how could she hate you? You know.
Right.
I had to work on that. And so we had the same manager at one time.
Right.
And she was doing a video up in in the block.
Yeah.
Jenny
Block.
from the block. Block. Right, that one. And so he said, why don't you go and visit her on the set, man? She would love to see you. And I was like, nah, that's all right. That's all right, man.
Right.
He's like, nah, man, come on, man. This is you. Come on, man. I was like, nah, that's all right, man.
Right.
That's all right, because one time is enough for me.
Right.
You know, I don't got to steal another base. If it's one and out, hey, I'll get, I'll wait till the next up, right? So I go down on the platform, and there she is, you know. And I tell you the only thing that saved me. I walked down the platform, and she was looking at the screens with all the rest of the dancers,
right?
You know, and Benny's all proud that he's standing with me, you know.
Benny Medina, correct?
Yeah. He put the last name on that. Okay, all right. So him, man, you know what I'm saying? So I get down to the end of the thing, and I look at her, and Benny's going, "Come on, man, let her know you're here, man." I'm like, "All right, man." And I go, "Jennifer, what's up?" And she goes, "Hey." So that was like the last, you know. I don't know how she's gonna be when I see her next, but the next time I saw her, I avoided her.
Right.
Because I don't like feeling that way.
Right.
I don't want to be around anybody who makes me feel like I'm not important.
I'm less than because.
You're gonna make me feel like I ain't important? You know, I worked at a hospital when I was 15, and everybody that worked there was black and were in the Korean War. All of them were veterans, you know? And they taught me everything.
Right.
They taught me everything about cooking, everything about life. You know, just imagine if they were like that to me.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
I mean, imagine that.
Right.
You know, my math teacher, Miss Coleman, Jewish woman, lived down the street from the elementary school. And I couldn't get my math right. She was like a substitute teacher. And she said, why don't you come over to my house? So I go over to the house after school, and she would work with me on math and work with me on math and work. I was never that great in math, but I had more confidence about doing it.
Right.
What would happen if she, hey.
Right.
You know, so I just remember those things.
Right.
And that's just me as an individual. That's all. That's just what makes the furnace in me run.
Right.
You know, and I delight in that. People come to me and say, man, you came to Afghanistan. And you look at this is the picture. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We were at your show in Kansas City, man, and my grandmother came, man. You took some pictures of her and everything, man. She gone now, man, but let me tell you something.
Appreciate that.
That was one of her greatest moments.
Right. When you look back at, you look at the 90s might have been the greatest, maybe the 70s because they have some some shows, but the 90s with Martin and Living Single and In Living Color. Will we ever see black TV again like we saw in the 90s?
I don't think so, but we'll see black TV.
Yeah.
You know, it won't be the same sensibilities.
Right.
You know, you see black TV now. You know, see a bunch of rich black chicks with Range Rovers having a beautiful cocktail.
Right.
With Gucci purses and.
Oh, we talking about the housewives of Atlanta?
I ain't talking about nothing. I'm just saying.
I'm just asking you, that's what you're talking about?
I'm just saying you see shows like this. and so here you are, and they're there, and they got it all, you know, the American dream. But yet, it's like, bitch, I slap your head off. You know?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or we'll see a miniseries that's a great one. It's a drama, and it's the whole thing. You know, but you'll see somebody's gun, the muzzle of the gun in someone's nose, you know.
Right.
You gonna give me that now? You gonna give it to me now? Give it to me. You know, sorry about that.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
That's what I'm seeing. I'm seeing a lot of that.
But no
whereas back then,
no Living Single, no Martin.
These shows were about the love about us.
Yeah.
The love about blacks and how we are.
Right.
You know, we got to be loving and caring based on the atmosphere.
Right.
We were all we had. You see?
Right.
We were all we had. So, and we were up against every odd you can imagine. We have no work incentive.
Right.
You know, y'all lazy. Well, what you gonna pay me? You know what I mean?
Right.
Well, if I'm lazy, why you sit up on the porch with mint julep and we out here picking?
Right.
How do I get your trait and I do your work?
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So we lived through all of that and are able to laugh and have joy.
Right.
Because that's our survival, but that's also who we really are.
Right.
The first to forgive.
Right.
You know, if a white person came to a black church, they leave there sanctified and full of food. You know, you might go to a white church and be like, I don't know if I want to step in there.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's nothing about the people itself. It's just a certain spiritual aspect about us that came out of that tragedy.
Right.
That's beautiful.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I love to see different manifestations of that.
Right.
So Martin, this couple that was trying to make their way in the world.
Man, that was awesome.
You know, living single. These black women who were like best friends, making their way in the world.
Right.
You know, so, and what do we need most? We need help making our way in this world.
Right.
You know, we know what the world is. You know, you got somebody shooting up kids in the school.
Mm-hmm.
Can't do nothing about it because nobody will get them from stop selling drugs.
Right.
You know, all the stuff that we see, but somehow there's this membrane that keeps us all together.
Right.
You know?
Right. Mm-hmm. You were in CB4 with Chris Rock. What's your relationship with Rock?
That's my man. That's we've been buddies for so far back. We were the first ones here in Hollywood.
Right.
It was me, Rock, and Martin.
Right.
We were the young ones.
Right.
We were the young guns coming in here.
Did you reach out to Rock when he went through that episode with Will Smith?
I did, but he didn't call me back though. But he finally called me back.
Right.
You know?
Yes,
And,
I mean, yeah, you know, you probably want to leave.
I know what he was going through. So I was like, the first thing I thought about was his mama. I said, man, she about to kill somebody right now. You know?
But you're not surprised that he reacted the way that he did
No.
when Chris said what he said.
Right.
Did you think it warranted that?
No, but I ain't him.
Okay.
You know?
Right.
I kind of looked at what he was up against as him, about what I know about him.
Right.
You know?
But you said that day he might have just been having a bad day. That might not be the person that he is, but that was the person that he was that day.
I think it was fear. Fear can do some things. When emotions is high, common sense is all time low, right? This is the first time that they actually even acknowledged me to get an Oscar.
Right.
This is the one I did my best job at.
Right.
Right? I've been on social media trying to be cool through this whole thing that's happening with me and my wife. I don't got to go into specifics. If anybody had a camera come in their house with them and their wife, or them as a marriage, they would burn their house down to keep you out of there.
Right.
Because some things ain't nobody's business.
Correct.
So he's dealing with that and balancing his whole persona.
He is Will Smith.
Right.
He's one of the,
he's never gonna stop. He always gonna be the best. And to me, he's a winner. You know, and we do any of us have moments?
Yes.
Yeah, that's why the dude wrote in sand to let the first one throw the stone without the sin.
Yeah, we've all had moments.
You know, if the whole world was eye for eye, we all be sitting here going, hey, give me some water, you know? And so I just thought it was fear, but that's just my take. Because it was all on the line. It was all on the line. It's like it was getting really hot.
Right.
You know, a person jumps out of the World Trade Center at the 118th floor.
Right.
And you go, why would they do that? Because the pain got so intense.
Right.
They didn't care. They just want to relieve fast.
Right.
You know, and I thought that that's what really happened, was that he just was extremely frightened about not getting in at what people think. They already thinking this, you know, and I wouldn't say he was wrong for being fearful, you know.
Correct me if I'm wrong.
But wrong for busting somebody in the mouth.
Right.
That ain't did nothing to you.
Right.
You know.
Jada Pinkett.
You can't put it on that.
No. But
Yeah.
she. I read where she cut filming short, so you could actually talk to your birth mom.
Oh yeah, they're good friends.
How did it? Jada's from that area. Jada's from Baltimore.
Jada's like one of my best friends. Yeah, you know, we were real tight.
Right.
And she saw that something was wrong with me one day. I don't know how. You know people.
Yeah. Yes.
And so we about to do the scene, and I'm laughing and joking. She said, "What's wrong with you?" said, what you talking about, man? Go ahead, girl. And she said, something's wrong with you. What's going on?
Right.
I'm like, what you talking about? What's going on? She said, something's wrong. She said, come here. What's happening with you? I'm like, girl, what are you talking about? I said, I just met my real mother for the first time.
Wow.
She said, that's it. You guys, that's a wrap for the day. Go deal with that, man. You can't be exposed to that right now and be normal under no circumstances.
Right.
Go deal with that.
So what was the conversation like with you? So how long, cause you had never met your birth mother?
Never.
And so how old were you when this happened?
I think I was probably about 34.
So you have a conversation with your birth mother. How did that conversation start?
It was hard. Cause she's like, hi, baby. And this, that, I was like, this ain't my mother.
Right.
You know, instinctively.
Right.
In my gut, you ain't my mom.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so we talked, and it was really just kind of a, how's the sunshine and that kind of thing.
Right.
It's really good to meet you, you know? And she's like, likewise, you know, stay in touch and that thing.
Did you?
Yeah, I did. But I went through a lot over that.
Right.
Because it triggered some stuff in me that was from so far back.
Right.
As long as I wasn't exposed to her, I never would have started experiencing the things I experienced inside.
Mm-hmm.
I started really experiencing like
you anxiety?
Man, like low sadness and anxiety, and like I started feeling really crappy, and I didn't expect it either because my mom never told me she was gonna do that.
Right.
My mom, she said, I got your mom on the phone, your real mom.
Oh.
And I found her randomly in the database because she worked at Housing and Urban Development.
Right.
So she saw her name and she said, this can't be her. And it was her.
Right.
You want to talk to her? And I was like, I don't know. I'm on the set now. I don't know.
So what questions did you have? Why did you give me up? Why didn't you keep me? Did you ask it?
We didn't get to it then. It wasn't until later.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we actually did therapy together.
Wow.
You know, and we actually got to the point where I remember going to visit. I saw the whole family, so I was filled with joy just to see people my color.
Right.
That looked like me,
Right.
like all my little kids. We got the same little nose and everything,
Okay.
right? So that was good to see, but I went over there just to really visit the family.
Right.
Right. And on Easter. Mm-hmm. Easter was the day my natural brother lost his life.
Okay.
Died that day.
Right.
So I was like, let me just go over there, give love to that. You know, I'm a person of the world.
Right.
And so as they were doing the prayers, she's a Baptist minister.
Okay.
So she goes around the country, you know, doing that. And so she's going to say the prayers. And during the prayers, she started saying, Tommy was a hard baby to take care of. He had whelps all over his body, you know, and he would bleed over those, and he'd cry a lot. It was hard to take care of it, and his mother stole him from me, and blah, blah, blah.
That's not the time for...
Right.
Oh,
so
man.
I'm there.
Sorry to hear that, Tommy.
Yeah, man, that it hurt, but I'm Barbara Davidson's son now. Right? So I just took a deep breath, and I took over. I said, you guys, I don't think today is about that.
Right.
You know, that was so long ago, and the world was so different back then. You know, I'm the person that I am now. You know, and who stole who from? It doesn't even matter. It's a miracle, really, because here I am.
Right.
Part of both of y'all. You see what I mean?
Right.
And this is the day that we should be thinking about our man.
Right. His homegoing.
Right. And after they dropped hands, I was like, I looked at my nephew, who I love so much, and my bigger brother, who remembered me being left. Only the two oldest ones remember me.
Right.
The rest of them are like, you mean my brothers don't live in color? You crazy.
Right.
They were crying like, oh man, it's so good to see you. When I first met him, and it was on Christmas, my brother, like a big brother could do, you know this. Mm-hmm. He walked me to the elevator. He told me, look at me, right here. I'm your brother, your big brother here. And I was like, yeah, okay.
Wow.
You know, that's
reassuring.
it's one of them things that you gotta give them that. You ain't gonna.
Right.
You see what I mean?
Right.
And he meant it.
Right.
And I left out of there, and then one of her sisters, one of my mother's sisters, stopped me at the stairs and said, "Good for you. Good for you. Somebody need to tell her something." You know, I said, "Thank you." And then we left, and then my nephew turned to me as we were driving. He said, "You know what, Tommy? I think what happened just now is probably the best thing that ever happened to my family." You know? And I was able to convince her to come to therapy, you know, with my mother. And we did it, and that's when it all came out.
Right.
She was there in that kind of denial, and it was a family session.
Right.
So all families talk about their issues, and then they have a group of people that trust each other, give feedback on what they heard.
She was trying to place the blame on someone else other than where the blame should have been placed.
Right, and everybody saying, "Tommy," I'm named after her. She's a country girl, Tommy Jean.
Right.
So my mother gave me her name.
Right.
Right. And everybody was saying, "Hey, you know, it sounds like you're blaming it on them," and then that's what it sounds like, and all of them had feedback.
Right.
So when it came back to her, it was like, it was something to watch.
Wow.
She started trembling, and she like went into like a seizure, like, you know, and she was on herself and threw up and all that stuff. And then they came back and got her together, and she came back to the room, and she told me what happened.
Wow.
She said, "I was scared." She said, "I was 19, I already had 4 kids.
Wow.
I was seeing a guy who was 50-something, who already had a family and he was rich. He was rich in country terms because I'm from Greenville, Mississippi.
Oh, okay.
So if you're an undertaker, you know, you up with the, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I was his chick on the side, you know, and plus I got strung out on heroin. So I was out in the streets, I had the kids, and I was losing it, man. And I got scared. I got an opportunity to go to Detroit or to move the kids to Milwaukee. I just left you. I just put it out of my mind. You know, she was crying hysterically. And then I saw her in that state, and I was able to forgive her. Because I saw it.
Right. But you dealt with some issues of your own. Did that traumatic experience play a role in what you ended up having to deal with and what you had to overcome?
I think it was all of it. It was all of it. It was just my life up to that point, you know? And it was a meant to be process that I had to go through, you know, to get to know God a little bit better and get to know what his intention was for me.
Okay.
You know? I was going through like the bottom, you know, and I had dealt with everything, drugs, drink, all of it. And I was in my bedroom by myself in the dark. All my good friends were like gone. They're like, we can't watch this.
Right.
So my friend, God bless him and his family, Major Brown, they from Tulsa, Oklahoma. I never seen no black folks like that ever. I never met black people from the South. Y'all were a revelation to me. Y'all a whole different thing, man. So they sent me a prayer card. I tell you how different y'all are. I went to visit his family, and his grandmother answered the door. Right, and she about 90. She opened the door and she said to him, "Give it to me." I was like, "Huh?" She said, "Give it to me." And he's standing there. She said, "Come on, give it to me." And he did his Easter recital, word for word. You know, it's a different thing, you know? So they sent me a prayer cloth, right? From the whole family prayed on it. You know, and I put it between my Bible, and I was like, "Yeah, man, you know, it works, so I guess, or whatever," right. And then a sister called me. Bing, and I picked up the phone. And she said, "You know what, Tommy?" She said, "Sometimes we just have to hang. We have to hang in there. We got to hang like he did, in pain, and have faith that it's going to pass."
Right.
She said, "You think that felt good? One here, and his body weight is only holding him.
Crucifix on his head.
You think that felt good?"
Crown of thorns on his head.
Right, even he doubted it. Even at a point he was saying, "What the hell?" Right? But that faith.
Right.
Right? She said, "Sometimes we just got to hang in that pain." and I hung in it.
How hard was it? Look, I'm a firm believer it's a lot easier going through something in private. You're a public person and you're going through your addictions, a public figure in a public way. Did it make it more difficult? Did it make you ashamed? Did it make you withdraw?
Actually, in ways it did, but it didn't. Because I got to the point where it didn't matter. It wasn't about that. It was about me.
Right.
It was about me being alive.
Right.
And me being able to enjoy what life has to give me.
Right.
Because I really didn't know.
Right.
My auntie told me, you ain't know no better. You know?
Right.
I remember going to her when I had a year sober. I said, Auntie, I got a year sober. She said, now don't you feel better? I said, yeah, I feel better. She said, that's all that matters, is that you feel better. And she said, I got to go to the store. You know?
Right.
So it was like one of those things where I had to dig in and do the work so that I can keep the life I have, but I had to realize that it was good in the first place.
Right.
You know, and there was a lot of stuff shrouding that stuff.
Right.
That's why I wrote the book. I wrote the book because if I can do it,
others can also.
then others can. And if I be specific, that's why I don't go into specific, that's why I got my book. Because it's a one-on-one experience when you read it, so you can get to, and I also did the voiceover.
Right.
So you can really hear one-on-one, you know?
Right.
And that was my gift back to the good universe and to the God I know and to all the love that I got from all the people,
Right.
you know, that didn't even know me. You know, when I lived in the Midwest when I was a kid, I never heard the word nigger from no white person. White people ain't the same. They all don't think the same. They all don't hate us. I don't care what nobody says. I'm speaking from my experience.
That's all you can speak from.
Right? How can I become me and not know that as a fact?
Right.
Right?
Right.
So it just became a very important book for me because I realized that I can take all those experiences that I paid for, through sadness, through despair, and all of that, and let me put it in a book that they can grab and go through, and maybe they can compare what they're going through with what I was going through, like I did with books,
Right.
like I did with stuff people gave me. Let me pass it on.
Right.
Let me pass it on.
Mount Rushmore. Who's your Mount Rushmore comedians?
Me, no. It was Pryor, Eddie, Cosby, Fox,
Red or Jamie?
Red.
Okay.
We talking about stand-up.
Yeah.
Okay, stand-up comedy. I'm gonna forget his name.
Pryor, Fox,
Red.
No, Pryor, Fox, Cosby.
Red.
Red Fox is the same person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
Richard Pryor.
Yeah.
Red Fox.
Right.
Bill Cosby.
Right.
You got one more.
I get one more?
Yeah,
it?
that's Mount Rushmore. You got 4 heads on Mount Rushmore.
I don't get 5?
No.
Not a bonus? Okay.
Nope.
Skip? No, I'm just kidding. Skip will give me a bonus. No, I'm just
No.
kidding.
Man, sit down. You ain't a show business.
Tight ends be holding too.
Yeah.
You just can't see it.
Bernie.
I'm gonna have to say George Carlin. I'm gonna have to throw him in there.
I thought you was gonna go Chappelle.
Oh man, but that's my contemporary.
So you know what? That's the exact same thing Smooth said.
Yeah.
I had JB Smooth, and he said, man, as great as Chappelle lived, he's contemporary. I can't put him up there.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not like, but I put him up there because I don't understand that boy. I don't understand him. You know, I'm sweating by the end of a show because that's the way I do shows.
Right.
He can stand there and smoke a cigarette.
Yeah.
You know? It's something about him and the times that we're in.
Right.
Where he's able to make everybody laughed during these circumstances.
Right.
And that got to take a genius.
Yeah.
You know, he grew up in my neighborhood, near
Right.
my neighborhood.
Yeah.
He used to be scared of us.
Right.
Like even still today, he'd be, I'm like, that's a long time ago, man.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, you know, we always different. But it's just the amazing things that he can do.
Right.
He can say some things that nobody can say.
He tell a story, man. He could tell.
No one can say that.
Right, and he make. You know, I'm saying. I guess there's truth in it. You know, there's truth in comedy, and he can tell. He can tell a story truthfully and make it funny.
Now he looks like Schmeagol. I'm just kidding, but I'm just saying. I'm a big Lord of the Rings. That's
Right.
has nothing to do with. Anyway, I like the name Schmeagol anyway. So he's a genius, and all of them is.
Right.
Man, every time I say I'm the best, I look at somebody and go, well, you know, hey, you got some more work to do still, you know, because it's a process.
Right.
Right? You add things on,
Well,
you know, and you can always have room for growth.
Well,
you know?
I'm discounting your what you call him because Murphy better be on Mount Rushmore too.
I put him, didn't I?
No.
I put Eddie first.
Prior.
Check the tapes.
Did he put Eddie? No.
Didn't I say Eddie first?
No.
I meant to say Eddie first, though.
No, you must be talking about Eddie Haskell.
I meant to say Eddie first, though.
No, you didn't.
Skip?
No.
No, okay.
Hey, I'm gonna get you out of here. You got a few more.
All right.
P. Diddy was your assistant. What kind of assistant was P. Diddy? Because remember he had that reality show and he was trying to find an assistant. He worked the dog.
Worked the dog at him, man.
You working?
Nah, I did.
How you let him out the hood?
I didn't have to. He was a hard worker.
Okay.
He was smart as a whip. He's there for everything I need. We was out every night in New York. He took me to every club, and I knew he was gonna be something, but I didn't know it was gonna be like that now.
Yeah.
I knew that boy was smart. First thing he said to me was, we get rid of this widow's peak. And I was like, I ain't getting rid of no widow peak. He said, but when it get on the big screen, it's gonna look big. I said, man, this is mine. This is the way I do my thing. Man, Strictly Business came on and I seen it. I looked like a vampire with a shark fin.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
And I was like, damn, if he was right, man. You know? He was sharp. And he's a cool kid. A cool kid and straight up.
Yeah.
I saw him bust one of the big union dudes in the face.
Right.
You know, because the union dude was up on him.
Right.
He tried to warn him. So I'm just dropping his bags off. You gotta get that out of here. You know, I'm his assistant, I'm trying to drop his bag off. He said, get it out of here and get it out of here now. He said, well, how am I gonna put it to, and the big dude lunged, and he caught him with the corner of the corner in the corner.
Opened him up.
Yeah, and the corner was like, you know, it's like Denzel when he was getting whipped, you know?
Yeah.
In Glory. And the tear came out that side. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah. And he was calling around and he called me and said, I can't get out. And I said, I'll come down there. And I just tried my influence and my name and all that. They said they let him out on his personal recognizances. And that's one person that never forgot me. Never. We still like that.
Wow.
You know, he's shorter than me because I'm older than him.
Right.
You know what I mean? But Shorty, man, he's gone to a whole nother level.
Right.
I wish I could talk to him sometime.
Right.
I wish we had that because I can help him too, I think.
Right.
You know, but I think I can help everybody. Right. But I wish I had an opportunity to do that. But I do.
Right.
I just can't choose who I'm gonna do it with.
Right. Anything you like to promote? I know you're a musician, but you got a website.
I got a website. What is it?
I don't know. I'm asking you. It's your website.
The Tommy Davidson.
My website is TheTommyDavidson.
What?
TheTommyDavidson.com, as a matter of fact.
So what is the website? What are you doing on the website?
Everywhere. You can get me everywhere. You can get my music. You can get my tour.
Okay.
You can get clips.
Right.
I got a tie line. We've been meeting to bring you that ever since you got on TV.
Okay.
We got to send you some.
Okay.
Everything that I've done, sketches.
Right.
You know, everything about me. You can, and it'll take you straight to TikTok.
Okay.
Straight to Instagram. It's like my central place.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I've just been blessed. You know,
Right.
I got a new single out, I Know. It's called I Know, my new
Right.
song.
Right.
I Know, with Richard Elliott.
Right.
I've broken into smooth jazz. Who knows where I'm going to go next?
Right.
You know, I've been able to get into the smooth jazz industry as a singer.
Right.
When I saw Jamie as a singer, I was like, okay, that's good because he broke it in, but I wanted to do that.
Right.
But I had to find the right lane for me.
Right.
Right?
Right.
Like, what does a coach bring to your teams? They bring their philosophy, right?
Right.
How they work it.
Right.
Right. And then you guys kind of shape it with what y'all do.
Right.
You know, when we did this at this school or whatever, they can modify it and not be too
rigid.
Right. No, that's what we're doing. And how many coaches have we seen
Yes.
gone because of that?
This is the system that I run.
You see what I'm
so we run
saying?
the system.
Exactly. So that's kind of how I looked at
Right.
music. Where can I be most successful now? Where can I have it be something genuine, you know, and real about me with the music?
Right.
And how can I help the listener?
Okay.
You know, when I see our kids listening to what's going on the radio now,
Right.
I don't really see a lot of stuff that can really help them
Right.
grow and be much, much stronger.
Right.
You know, spiritually stronger, mentally stronger.
Right.
I just don't see that happening in the music that's coming out of them. You know, I'm gonna do the music that's natural to me,
Right.
and just let it be.
Right.
You know, I'm gonna just stay in my lane
Right.
and just do what I do and just let it kind of flower from there because I've been a musician and a singer since I was a little kid.
Right.
You know, and so I'm doing like Plexico did. Plexico, they had him in an interview, right?
Right.
All right, Plexico, you shot yourself in the leg. You were in jail. You know, a whole year off. You here in the Super Bowl. You catch the clutch catch to close this thing out. What do you attest for that? He said, I just asked God this morning, if you just get me to the field, I'll appreciate just that. Ray, you were up for the shootings. You were about to go to jail. It's a whole season. The Patriots put up a thing. This your party. You end up getting MVP in the big old dancing hoisting. What do you attest to that? He said, well, I knew God wouldn't put me through such a trial unless there was a triumph behind it. I got brand new ears where I can hear.
Right.
I can hear it. The O'Bannons won the national championship, right? And they were the last seed and all this. And they asked them, you know, how did you do this? And they said, we went this season by faith and not by sight. You know, and these are the principles that I think are important for me.
Right.
But this is my society too.
Right.
Right? Just because I'm I'm culturally African and I'm an African American here, doesn't mean I'm outside of humanity.
Right.
I'm a part of humanity too.
Right.
So why can't I speak on all our behalf? Everybody else do.
Right. Exactly.
I got some input, right?
Yeah.
And it's valid.
Right.
You know? If I wasn't worth nothing, they wouldn't have brought me over here.
Thank
There
you,
you
brother.
go. We got it done, man.
We got it done.
That was years of
Finally.
passing each other, man.
Years.
Thank you, man.
Thank you.
For letting me talk, man.
Thanks for sharing your story.
You got it, Shay.
Really appreciate it.
Club Shay.
Tommy Davidson.
All my life, been grinding all my life. Sacrifice, hustle, pay the price. Want a slice, got to roll the dice. That's why all my life, I've been grinding all my life. Look, all my life, been grinding all my life. Sacrifice, hustle, pay the price. Want a slice, got to roll the dice. That's why all my life, I've been grinding all my life.